and why I put this in was because I'm worried, and they were worried, that as Texas continues to grow and so many people are moving to the cities, and the Democrats through Agenda 21 and Agenda 23 are trying to build density in the big cities, that we will soon get to a point where there's enough popular vote in those urban areas, and we may already be past it, where we can counter all the votes everywhere else in the state. You know, New York has this problem, Illinois has this problem, California's a problem unique to itself, but their cities kind of have the same effect. And so I don't want that to happen to Texas. I don't want the voice of all of our conservatives in rural counties to be lost. So in trying to find a remedy for that, I came up with having the SDs basically vote. And so the idea is to sort of mimic the way the US works, right? We've got popular vote, but it's divided by state, and then each state sends its electors up, and that's how you maintain a voice for the smaller states, so you don't get drowned out by the major urban areas or the biggest states. So if we vote according to the SD, then that will make sure that other parts of the state still count. And the application that I thought was appropriate was for basically any official that's elected statewide. Okay? So that's why the State Electoral College plank is in there. However, I'm sitting there having lunch, and this very nice person comes by and says, "Hey, I want to talk to you," and she starts pitching an idea. And with that, and with her proposed substitute, I will turn it over to that young lady from 2 years ago, Ms. Whitmore.
Thank you, Chairman. So this is a concurrent majority plank. It is not a replacement of a state electoral college. It is a different application. Instead of using the Senate districts, to use the counties to create an electoral college for the state of Texas. The move away from Senate districts is because the Senate districts are mutable. We are bound by 31 Senate districts in the state. So as our populations grow, we are going to be keeping 31, and more of our urban population is going to get roped into our rural areas. And even with the Senate district approach, you're going to lose more of your rural voice. By switching to a county approach, and this is a two-factor authentication, if you say, approach to it, where you have to keep the popular majority of vote of the state as a whole, but add the additional criteria that to be elected to a statewide office, you have to win the majority of the counties as well, where each county gets one vote allocated to the popular majority winner of that county. So in effect, you have to win the state as a whole, the counties as a whole, and you can be elected to statewide office. And so this helps protect the rural interests. It creates the concurrent voice. So if the urban and rural both agree that, yes, these are the leaders we want to lead Texas, they will become the leaders of Texas. This helps protect the rural interests. It also adds an extra layer of election integrity. Because right now, with just the popular majority, if enough voter fraud occurs in our major cities, you can swing a statewide election popular vote to a Democrat candidate. By adding this county check, you basically allow a negation of the population counties and allow the voice of the low population counties to be heard as well. Also, by doing that, it protects very critical industries in Texas, our ag industry, our oil industry, that the Democrats, are starting to go after cows. They are starting to go after our oil industry. They try to not allow us to export liquid natural gas. Oil and ag are the backbone of our economy, and they will go after them if they are allowed to get into office and maintain power. This is a check to make sure that we balance the interests across the state by leveraging the existing counties and giving them a voice.
To Christine's point, I will say, if you look at the changes that happened in the SD maps with the most recent redistricting, what you'll notice is, because they have to do equal populations, the large counties, like Harris, have a lot more SDs in their county, and what they've got is you'll have a little finger coming in, capturing a bunch of population, but then a lot of rural counties that are attached to it, but the power starts to shift into the large urban areas, and it kind of captures some of the surrounding counties. And that happens in Dallas-Fort Worth, too. We've added them. So it is a viable problem, and it is something I think we ought to address.